Welcome to my 3 hours with Bishop Asante Marfo-Ahenkora.
So welcome today to my 3 hours. In these episodes, I talk about the roads, the reflections and revelations of my life. So everything I say here is quite personal to me. Not necessarily, bring other people's examples, but using my life, and the things I've learned over the journey to share both the bad and good experiences so that especially young people can learn from some of those experiences. And feel free if you want to contact me and ask further questions. If there are any areas of life that you want me to throw perspectives on, where you feel, share with us about this area, I'll be glad to come back. But for today, I want to share about, where I had to, my first experience with children. When you are young, you see it as something that, you expect to happen. More often than not, they tell us, it's good, you marry, you get children, do this, do that. But they fail to tell us that it's a lot of work. And for me, when you start having children, you learn that there's a lot of work that comes with it. A lot of people stumble into it. But sometimes it's also good to have heads up so that, you prepare well and then you are not taken aback by the pressures they create, because they create pressures especially in young couples' lives and stresses. So for me, I got married, moved together. We're like, okay, maybe we'll have children, but we didn't think that it was going to pop up that early, But, the first pregnancy my wife had was quite tough. I say tough because the pregnancy came along with a lot of nausea. Virtually, she couldn't go to work. And it was very, very uncomfortable. And I had to be there to support. And let me say that, for a young couple, when you marry, you think you're going to enjoy, some wonderful days ahead. But when the pregnancy came, it changed everything. Because here was her, somebody's daughter, and now, she couldn't eat. Because anything she eats, she throws up. We went to the doctor, they will give us some drugs to help. We'll come back to zero. The vomiting and the nausea will, And I saw her, she wasn't a fat person. And she was, I don't want to say she was, slim, but she was slim and she couldn't eat. And the little she would eat, she would throw off. And so there were times when I had to, leave her at home, go to work, make sure that, she takes a little before I leave, and she won't be able to eat until I come back. And come and make sure that she eats her next meal. And sometimes after going through all the hustle, today I want to try this. I go try and do the thing so that she will eat for me. She eats more and then it will come again. You can imagine my disappointment. And she was weak. So she will vomit and then I have to clean the vomit and those things. When you are married, nobody tells you that you could face these things. But that was the reality. And so it somehow, it gives you a certain kind of shock that, it's not what people say, that you go and live happily thereafter. and that there is no happily thereafter. It is work. It is like the two of you. How do you make it together through thick and thin? And so that is how the children started. So you start with that. Thankfully, after the first trimester, the second one, even the second one was not easy, but getting to the third, it was now stable and she was able to do everything she could do. But then that was not the end. Now the birth came. And when the birth came, she went to give birth, in Koforidua, so they had to join me, so I went to bring them to Accra. Thankfully, the mother was alive. Her mother was alive. My wife's mother was alive, so she joined us to come to help. But even with that, it was a very, very stressful time because I loved my sleep. I enjoy sleeping. But from the day the baby came, my life changed. Now, I had to sleep small. Hey, is this what this thing is about? Well, some people get lucky, but I was not so lucky. So, nighttime, 1 hour, you hear meh. Another hour, you hear meh. So by the time you wake up, you are tired, you are drowsy, everything. So that was how child rearing was. Apart from the daily upkeep that you need to keep the baby going, it's not these days where you use your, what do we call it? You have, the Pampers and whatnot. In our generation, you use the napkin when it was wet season. You soak, you wash, you soak, you wash, and you iron. And it was what I'm trying to drive at it wasn't the pleasant thing like happy marriage after marriage. No, it was work. It was real maturity, digging in, your life changing and welcoming this new addition to life and what I'll call adjusting to the new reality of your life. What am I driving at? It was the road. It gave me some shocks and I learned how to adjust. The subsequent ones, because I was now, I'd now learned lessons. It was better. So at a point I recall that, when I come from work, I try and get permission to sleep early. So I try, immediately I come from work, I get something to eat, I go to sleep. So that I can get some sleep till maybe up to 12, 1. Then I can wake up and come and take over and also help. Because somebody had to sleep. I couldn't leave, them to, stay awake in the night alone. So we try to, bring up some engineering, where you carried parts, the other person carries part. It was a new reality that we had to learn. Childhood or childbearing and rearing, if you like, is a shared responsibility. And as a father, as a mother, we all have, roles to play. We need to be ready to support each other in that endeavor. What I learned about it that I want to share is that, you need to share. Every child will come with their own issues. You may be lucky. There'll be children who sleep. There'll be children who eat well. Some children come, they don't sleep well. They don't eat well. And it comes with a lot of stress and a lot of work. Some kids get sick. You have to spend some time in the hospital. Sometimes you are admitted. And I've had some of those experiences. I remember one time after church service, after preaching and everything, driving home, then a child got sick. It got so serious, they referred us from, I don't know if it was Achimota to Kolebu. Then we had to, and then, you've not had any rest. And then you admitted as well. Sometimes you have to go home, bring things, and come back. It's a lot of work. And I'm sharing this so that people who go through them don't, sometimes they turn their anger upon their spouses. But learn so that you can be a good person who absorbs some of those shocks. It's a time to be strong, to be there for each other. So I want to say childbearing and raising children is a lot of work. Parents don't tell us when we are going into marriage. They just are happy for us to have children. But when we have them, get your mind prepared. You have to carry your cross. And I'm saying so that it will prepare somebody's mind to be ready. Especially the young men. A lot of them are not prepared, because, I need to go to work. I need to do this. Immediately I come from work. Then they bring me the child to hold and whatnot. Yes, your fathers went through that and you also go through that. I just want you to know that you need to make adjustment. There are years where you adjust. You lose sleep. You need to spend a lot of money buying Pampers, buying feed, buying a lot of medicines. Whether you are ready or not, you've got to prepare yourself for that. And for me, that is even more critical than, the time we waste looking for money to put up a big wedding. What is ahead of you is rather more engaging. It engages your emotions, it engages your finances, it engages your being, your complete being. And you should learn fast to be patient, to be humble, because the kids, when they come in, will teach you all these values, whether you like it or not. If you are somebody who is intemperate, your children will teach you temperance. And so you better make up your mind, because you need to be patient with them and raise them well. You need to be there for them. Sometimes when they are growing up, they get to begin to crawl. Crawling alone is another level. You have to, be chasing them everywhere. You have to, make sure that your electricity outlets are all sealed and that things that can fall off. So because you have to protect them, but they won't stay at one place because they've reached a point where they have to move about. If you don't take care, they will be injured. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. And I'm sharing this because this is one I'm sharing is when they are small. They are babies, they are toddlers, and the earlier, as they grow, I'll share also some of the experiences, in raising children at an adult life. The children come differently. Even some of the pregnancies come. Some are cool, some are tough. Some you have to go for a lot of situations can come up. I want you to realize that we all go through that. But here we are. We made it. And so you will make it. Don't be exasperated. Don't be frustrated. Calm down if you are going through as you hear me. You are not the first to go through that. And don't blame the child. This child is not growing according to pattern. Sometimes you have a child and the time they should be talking, they are not talking. These days that they have all kind of names. They say he's autistic. He is this, he's this, dyslexic or whatever. No, you have to hang in there. Let me say that a lot of people have gone through things and you can learn from them. If only you would ask and they would share their personal experiences so that you don't lose sleep over things you don't have to lose sleep over. The God who has given you the child will also give you that ability to take care of that child. And so for today, I wanted to share, raising a child and its stresses and its worries. When you get into it, you have been foretold. I have shared with you So don't go and then at a point begin to make your face like, you've been bombed. You are not the first. That is being a mother. That is being a father. In the tree we say obatan. If you're obatan, you will smell obatan. Things are going to smell in your house. Your nice carpet sometimes will not be nice anymore. Your couch will not be nice anymore. Things will go out of its way. But you know what? They will be a blessing in your life. The kids are going to be a blessing. They're going to brighten your life. When they come with the stress, but over time, it becomes a blessing in your life. So hold on and do the best. Prepare your mind if you have not yet started. If you are in it, soldier on and let God be your helper. And let the joys of raising these kids who are God-given, be, what is ahead of you. Let that, the joy of it help you so that as you go through, you know that someday what you are putting in will be a joy for your life. May God bless us all and strengthen us as we take care of these children. See you next time. Ciao.